You see them all here. Now we're live here. There's nobody here, but
oh well, that is nice and clear, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You can adjust it, and it's got the surround effect and everything. You could do different things on it. Hey everybody, just wanted to give you a brief video on how to repair your computer. The steps you can go to check out your computer, and I have another tech here that can give you his version of what he does to evaluate a computer and see why it's running slow. And his name is Ron, and he's a special guest. So Ron, can you just explain if a computer's slow, like what do you do? Like what are your first things you do?
Well, if it's slow, of course, first I check to see if there's any spyware or malware that could be caching files to slow it down. Malwarebytes, of course, is probably the best one out there for free. I would download that and run that. I also check the internet temporary folder to see how many temp files are in there. And hopefully it's one of those two and doesn't get into anything major that you have to do.
Right, yeah, I look at an approach like that too, because I know a lot of times, people don't realize that when they're online, they accumulate stuff like, you're getting, companies, like if you search the web, different internet sites, companies will put what's called a cookie file or a tracking file, so you can get back to their site easy, and they can see what kind of buying habits you have, etc.
And the problem is the hackers use that same type of thing to hack into your PC and get whatever information they want.
Okay, yeah, so people out there, it's best to, first things first, check your, make sure, you don't have a lot of, these temp files. And if you do, do the Control-A, highlight one. You'll see a bunch of them. You can hit delete on your keyboard, get rid of that. Another thing I like to tell people is if you're running Chrome, you go to the three dots on the right-hand top right, and you go to history, and you can accumulate stuff on history,
That's true, yes.
Yeah, see, so that's good basic information on, the best ways to, evaluate your computer is you got to use the free programs that are available to anybody on the internet. And I tell people that all the time.
CCleaner, of course, is another good one. Uses that one quite often.
Exactly. That's great too. CCleaner, I love using that. And that's spelled C, like the third letter alphabet cleaner, all one word. Real small utility, download that. And we got, like you were saying, Malwarebytes free version, which is really good. And it'll find any kind of infections. You just got to go and make sure you're getting the free version, not the trial. And if you decide you do want to pay, that's a personal preference. But the free ones, Ron, I find work just as good.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you think, yeah, that's the way I've learned. And even year in and year out, the free ones are always available. And another one,
and they do keep them up to date. So,
right, yeah,
even though they're free, they're updated quite often.
Yeah, exactly. And also, they give you an option where you can update some of these programs yourself too, like a Avast antivirus. Definition files are out of date. You can click and that'll update it.
Speaking of updates, why don't you speak a little bit about Ninite?
Oh, Ninite, yeah, that's like a treasure that Ron had told me. There's and I have a couple of videos about Ninite, but let's just basically go over it for people. Ninite is an excellent program. Like, if your computer crashes and you have to reinstall Windows again, let's say, and then you have to go around, and it's a big hassle looking for all these programs that you need that you had before. Let's say you had to wipe out all your programs. Ninite is a website to go to, and it's spelled Ninite. And you go there, and you can actually, like Ron showed it to me, and it was unbelievable. You can actually, there's about 50 different utilities and programs. You can actually just check which ones you want, and without the fear of getting a virus or an infection, like, searching for programs on other sites where you may be downloading that with other things like third-party software.
This one is all clear, and it has a lot of the decent programs like WinZip is on there, and 7-Zip, and there's, like he said, probably 50 different programs.
Yeah, that WinZip and all those programs. I mean, you'll be surprised they're all on there, and you just get them, and then click, check the boxes you want, and click Get My 9-Night. Boom, it starts downloading one after the other, and like what Ron said, without any problems with different websites, and they're all the popular programs that you normally would use. That you'd have to go search.
You can get Apple iTunes on there, and if you're an Apple iTunes person, there's tons of them.
Oh yeah, get the Apple.
And these are all the latest ones, which is another nice thing. It's not an old version. You're actually getting the latest version of whatever it is you're downloading.
Yeah, so make sure you put that down. Write that down in your, to keep next to you. If you need programs and you're afraid that you might be downloading it from a site that's not trusted, you want to go to 9-8. And 9-8 is a site where you can pick and choose what you want and download it without any fear. That's a very important thing that you brought up, Ron, because most people, they'll go to, one different site and anything can happen.
That's very true, and it's not safe that way. And you want to keep your laptop or your computer safe.
Right. I've even been guilty of that a lot of times where you'll find a program you want or utility, you download it, and you forgot to check the boxes. And now there's boxes, so you're not having to deal with any of this anymore. Looking at your computer after you download from a threatening site that you're not sure of, and then you realize, I have 3 or 4 new programs too. With that, you don't have that problem anymore. You're just going to go to that one site, 9-Night, and like we would say, and just pick and choose what you want, and that's all you'll get.
All safe, all updated programs.
All safe, updated, virus-free programs.
And they actually have virus protection that you can download there. They have the Avast and a few others actually.
Exactly. You can even get your antivirus there. Hey, Jack, good to see you. We're just doing a little Q&A and teach people about the basics of computer. If you have an issue, you don't really need the background. Most people think that you need to have a lot of background to do the basics. Now, we're talking about basic things. If you have a big problem, obviously, a motherboard or a hardware issue, you might not know how to deal with that. So you need to talk to somebody more knowledgeable or search it out yourself. But the best way to deal with these slowing your computer down, your computer's running slow. Like we said, you get the free programs, the ones that have been proven to work over the years, CCleaner, and like Ron said, you get this super anti-spyware free version. That's very good. I run that on my computers. And recently on my Windows 7 computer, I had that issue where out of sight, I got some infections, and it ran the super cleaner spyware remover, and it cleaned it right up. So those are good programs. And don't think you have to go and pay $50 for a,
No.
We run into people all the time that, had gotten into the thing where, if I spend $75, that's going to help me more. That's not true.
No, it isn't.
That old analogy, people, we want to enlighten people that there's a lot of free utilities on the computer that will help you. There's a vast, number of these. So these are basic. These are the more popular programs we're talking about. But when you go to 9-8, you'll get a good idea of what's available and what programs are out there.
And don't be fooled by the pop-ups or even emails or anything saying that they've found problems with your drive or viruses on your drive. Don't be fooled by those. Those can be gotten rid of with either Malwarebytes or Spybot or just about any of them.
Exactly. That's another thing I was going to bring up. I'm glad you touched on that. I have senior citizens or women that don't know much about computers, and you may get a message that says you have a few hundred things wrong with your hard drive, and you need to click here or pay $40 or any thing like that, and it's false. Don't even fall for it. And they even go a bit further to make it look like that they're showing you what's going on your computer, but it's not true.
Yeah.
So don't fall for any of those scams.
If you have any doubts, give someone a call, or get online and hook up with Mike, and he can tell you for sure what's going on with it.
Yeah, and another thing I want to add is PlayStation, any kind of gaming consoles. If you have issues with that, Ron has an extensive background in working on the gaming consoles, and he's real familiar with a lot of that. So you can always leave me a comment or a question, or if you are in the Central Florida area, you might even be able to hook up with Ron at some point and hire him to work on your
Be happy to help. I'll take a look at it and see if it's a simple problem or something that's really going to cost some money, and you'd be better off to buy another one.
Right, and sometimes you even have different things for sale too.
I do, yeah.
You may even be able to solve the people's problem that way, because we run into it's not cost effective to do this, and it's a lot better to buy something else instead of putting money into something that's not going to be good.
Very true.
And that's why we get it. And I just want to thank you for your for your input, and this little video can take you a long way in your your daily, day in and day out use of your computer, because people always are experiences freezing up. Well, my computer's running slow, and you might think it's a real big issue, but what we've been talking about will get you on the right path to solving your problem.
I'm going to say 90% of the slowness, whether it's the actual PC or if it's like in Internet Explorer or Chrome, can be taken care of very, very easily.
Yep, exactly. And another thing is that most problems with your computer are going to be software related. I would say maybe 90% is going to be software. And yes, parts do break down at times, but if you're having problems with your Windows and your computer slow, pop-ups, things coming on your screen, different problems, and your computer did run well maybe a month ago or 6 months ago, then we're looking at a software problem, and it can be easily resolved. The worst case scenario is that you have to reinstall the operating system, but there's a lot of things you can do to prevent doing that.
Yes.
And we can help you with that. Or what we've said, running those programs will really do a wonder for clearing up a lot of those issues.
And again, you'll find most of what we've talked about on Ninite and be able to get them there.
Oh yeah, all those programs are on Ninite. You want a good WinZip for your zip files, or those programs like we said, Super Anti-Spy or Malwarebytes, Avast free antivirus. You can get them all on Ninite. So make sure you check out that site. You have any computer questions or problems, give me a comment, and either I will answer it, or if it's something that Ron's noticed or he's more familiar with, he can help you also, and I can relay the message. So just remember that you can run your computer and you can maintain it yourself.
Yes.
There is no reason why you have to take your computer, unplug everything, and check out my videos, because there are videos in there that will help you. And there are things that you can do yourself to keep it going and maintain it. And just because it's 5 years old, it still runs good. You really don't need another computer unless you want to upgrade and make it faster. Then you have to put either more memory, a faster hard drive, or you'd have to get another system. So thanks for taking our tips, and I hope this video has helped you. And we want to say we will see you in the next video.
Have a good one, guys.
Yep. See you.